Kia ora koutou, I'm Michael Fletcher and I'm Principal of Chaucer School here in Tamaki Makaurau in our awesome country of Aotearoa, New Zealand. Here are 3 tips for PAC, 3 tips for Principals and Caffeine. Tip number 1, mindfully grinding. Wait, what did you just say? Mindfully grinding. That's what I thought you said. Where are you even going with this? Just trust me and keep watching. I really enjoy my morning routine and ritual around making a cup of coffee. So when I'm boiling the jug, grinding the beans, I try and focus on just those parts of the little ritual. And I try and be present in the moment in terms of what's going on, as opposed to having my mind flip between a whole heap of other things. So the smell of the coffee once it's made, that first sip, I try and be really present and mindful. And yes, you could say perhaps I'm a bit of a coffee nerd, but to me that morning routine and that ritual gives me an opportunity to start my day with something positive, relaxed, and it's an opportunity to be present and mindful. Tip number 2, the first hour. I recently learned that there are now proven benefits to avoiding any kind of caffeine in the first hour of the day. Thanks, Dave Armstrong. So one of the first things I used to do in the morning was make a nice cup of coffee. So in the last week or so, I've been trialing leaving it at least an hour before I have that first cup of coffee. And already I'm starting to feel a little bit sharper in the mornings, and I'll be interested to see if it has other positive effects, including whether it has positive impacts on my sleep. And yes, you might be thinking, how can not having caffeine at the beginning of the day have positive effects on my sleep? Well, apparently there's research that suggests it can, and I'm interested to see if it does have a positive effect. Tip number 3, the caffeine cutoff. You're probably aware of the thinking and the research around avoiding caffeine after a certain time in the day. So for example, I try and avoid caffeine after 12 o'clock. And if I do really want a coffee after that time, I go for the decaf option. So for example, if I'm in a cafe, I can have a decaf flat white and still feel like I'm having a coffee. I know for me personally, if I do have caffeine after that time, it definitely affects my sleep. And the research talks about how long caffeine stays in our system. So that explains, for example, why if you've had a coffee a little bit later in the day, you can suddenly find yourself in the middle of the night, bing, wide awake. If you want to work with a coach who is not only an accredited coach, but is also a current principal, drop us an email. We also run online workshops for principals, and our next one is coming up on the 30th of May. It's called Tank Filling for Principals, and you don't want to miss it. Go to arrowcats.co.nz and scroll down and click on the Book Now link. Or you can drop us a message and we'll send you all the information. Thank you for watching, and remember to ask yourself, what do I need right now? Ka kite anō. Hello, flat white, my dear, dear friend. Hello, flat white, my dear, dear friend.